What up? This is Tony, aka Shay, coming at you with West African inspired content, more specifically business and more intellectual content. If you are new to the channel, definitely check out my other videos. And if you've been here before, I appreciate you actually coming back. So, right now, the biggest news happening in Nigeria, and one of the biggest news happening in Nigeria is the governor of River State, Wike. I can't pronounce his whole name, and honestly, um, he's kind of annoying me right now. But what he did, due to the COVID 19, he ended up demolishing two buildings, two hotels. And the reason for it was that he said that they were violating his order of not opening. A lot of people had mixed feelings about it, and I kind of want to give a breakdown of how I felt. I don't want to take too long. I just want to give you what I feel. Keep it short and keep it moving. So I'll give a little bit of background of what I found out about him. He was, uh, of course, he's a politician. He's the governor of River State, and also he studied law in River State University Science and Technology. So in this school, the law faculties that they have is business law, international law, public law, private and property, private and property, and independent and crime. So I'm curious to know which law he did. I couldn't really see specifically which law he chose to do, but it would be a damn shame if he did that property, private and property, and he's acting like this. So to put it in context, he talks about so in his Twitter feed and his other social media accounts, I guess he talks about he's trying to save lives, and he's trying to protect the residents of River State. So I kind of I call bullshit on that, and I'm gonna explain why. So I have the actual data that is going on in Nigeria as far as cases. This is from the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. So they have the most recent up-to-date cases of all the what's going on with the COVID. So here you see River State right here. So 23, 16, 4, and 3. So 23 number of cases, lab confirmed. 16 number of cases on admission. 4 number of 4 discharged people, and then you got a number of deaths 3. So the numbers in River State is very small, and just keep in mind that there's almost 200 million people in Nigeria. So out of all the cases, this is all for Nigeria. There's less than 5,000. As far as deaths, 158 deaths. So yes, every life is important, but I think it's good to put in perspective that it's not this death sentence that everyone is making it to seem. It's just not true. So him using the excuse that, oh yeah, you really trying to save lives. More people gonna die from starvation. More people gonna die from crime. The crime that's starting to happen because everything is shut down. There's more ways to die, or car accidents. There's more ways to die than having COVID-19. The keys, because even the death rate, I mean, it's really small, and this is globally. So him using that excuse is BS. So that's the first part, just to put it in perspective. Another thing that him being a lawyer that's really concerning is that he doesn't understand. Well, I'm not going to say that. There's a constitution. So Nigeria does have a constitution, and it protects people's property. So when just seeing him act the way he acts, I can tell. I mean, I got the Constitution right here actually, and there's a part to it that talks about right to dignity, and basically you can read it for yourself. But it talks about the one I picked out that looks like he's violating is uh, every Nigerian has a right to not be subjugated to torture or inhumane, degrading treatment. Degrading to me could be the hotel. It is degrading for because you didn't shut down. You just destroyed the whole and this is two hotels that he destroyed them both. I'm sure there's another one as well. Right to personal liberty, the prior the right to freedom. So freedom to have your hotel. So you can all you gotta do is research the Nigerian Constitution. You can see what it actually reads. But him being in law, I don't understand why he thinks that's okay to go ahead and knock down people's livelihood. So that's just something that I feel uh, needs to be challenged. So looking at the responses of a lot of people, so some people was like, yo, this ain't right. You can't be doing this to people. Others, which was very interesting, were actually in agreement with the governor. And they were saying things like, well, those Nigerians should have stayed inside. They shouldn't have been in a hotel. The government or the governor is getting the job done as far as COVID, whatever that means. I already showed you the numbers. Like it's not that high, and it's not what they're making it to seem. It's not Lagos. So, and they said Nigerians are hard headed. Now we know Nigerians are hard headed, but still, you still gotta respect people. Like it's just completely overboard. Um, when it comes to the Nigerians being hard headed, I've heard this comment a lot, and I mean I've seen what goes on over there, and I attributed it to poor structure. At the end of the day, if you have good structure, then you're not gonna see a situation where people don't follow your rules. If people don't have confidence in your structure and what you got set up, then people are just not going to have faith in it, and they're going to end up doing things that they feel is the best thing to their interest. So, analogy I'll use is like the best and the worst soccer teams. Okay, the locker room for Spain is vastly different than the locker room for Panama. One is excellent, one is not so excellent. So where's the difference? One has good structure and a winning culture. The other, not so much, because they haven't won anything. So when it comes to if you have a good structure in place, people will respect that. And when I see comments like, "Oh yeah, Nigerians are just hard headed," well, damn, if the government ain't really taking care, ain't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and it's a consistent thing, then I get it. I can understand why someone is just not gonna want to listen um, to what the government says. So yeah, call them hard headed. It is what it is. For the ones that say that this is okay, here's why it's a problem. It's short sightedness. Because of the move that you made, he basically what he did was for a temporary problem, he made a permanent solution. So these people were violating this temporary law. He then turned around and makes this permanent solution of just destroying their hotel. It doesn't equate. It doesn't make any sense. It's not an intelligent move to make. What you also do is scare people away from wanting to do business with you because of how hot-headed that you get and how emotional you get. You immediately say, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna just eradicate everything. And a good leader doesn't act like that. A good leader is patient, and they try to reason and they try to understand the situation. They don't just go off and have a knee-jerk reaction and cause more damage than what the initial problem could have caused. And once again, going back to the numbers, if someone is saying, "Oh, no, he had to do this," the numbers. Matter of fact, I'll show you again. Numbers don't match up. In River State, you got 23 people. 3 people died. Yeah, that's sad. But here goes Lagos, almost 2,000. You would have a better response if it was like Legos and things just seem to blossom. Because I don't see any other governors destroying hotels. So why is this one doing it? You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. So he's just short sighted. He's not really looking at how it can affect people. Because now you just made more people unemployed. You just increased it. You just increased the unemployment percentage because of your short sighted action. How does that benefit your people that you say you're trying to take care of? Okay. Um, Unemployment part, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then, of course, the investor. So, me, I got two businesses. If I'm trying to do business in Nigeria, I'm not going to want to do business in River State just because of what I see. I, I mean, why? If something goes wrong or the governor feels some type of way, the fact that he has the power to go ahead and do what he wants to do, and just like, why, as a business owner, why would I want to put myself in that situation? No, I'm going to go to the states that actually can, adhere toward to the Nigerian Constitution, and I know my property and business will be protected. That's what I want to see. That's how I'm going to do business with, and those people in the community are going to benefit from it because I'm going to be employing them, and I'm going to tell my friends, hey, yo, this is a good place to invest. Y'all should come over there too, and y'all should see. Y'all should invest, and then that's going to be more jobs. And the people from River State or others, other states that feel like they have a tyrant as a governor, they're going to come over. You see what I'm saying? So you got to look long term. You can't just look at the immediate problem and immediately come up with a solution that's just um, really ridiculous. So that's one. It shows that you don't have respect for people's property. Even if someone violates the law, there's always people violating laws. It's not just in Nigeria. It's all across across the world. That's how people are. People are all different thinking. They have their own convictions, whatever. You still got to respect people's stuff. You still got to respect life, and you got to respect property because that shows good faith effort. Like you're willing to, okay, look, you made this mistake. I don't like it. I'm going to take you to the courts because this is what I want to make sure that you can trust me. A lot of people don't trust you anymore because of the decision. They don't know how you're going to respond. Having a leader like that, that's that emotional, is not a good leader at all. You can't rely on their word. You can't rely on them respecting you, even if you're the lowest of the low. How can you respect a person like that? How can you have faith in someone adhering to the laws? So he made one law, and now he went ahead and did whatever he wanted to do. No one stopped him. The courts didn't do anything to him. They didn't say anything to him. He just destroyed property for no reason. And then he's saying that he's going to build um, a secondary school. That's the newest thing that I heard. And I know why he's saying that. It's because a lot of people was getting at him for the foolishness that he did. Now he wants to turn it around and make it seem like, oh well, no, I'm going to turn this into a positive. I'm going to build a school. Well, shit. What about the two hotel owners? You just stopped them from making money. They could have sent their children to a school or your school if you would have built it somewhere else. So now you take down that, you know, and even just for him to say that, yeah, there's a lot of governors that say I'm going to do this, do that, or a lot of politicians that make promises and it doesn't account to anything. How and when is this school going to be built? It's just one school. What's going to be the standard? What's going to be the cost? Is it going to be free? You see what I'm saying? Like it's just so many different variables. You He already showed that he's not trustworthy. So I don't whatever. You can make your own opinion of that. What he reminds me of is Abacha, the former military dictator for Nigeria. That guy was a tyrant. He was human rights abuses, hanging people. Like he ended up dying. They say that a prostitute came and poisoned him, and then he just had a heart attack and dropped dead. So, but I'm not saying that the governor of River State is going to get to that point, but when I think of this type of attitude that I can do whatever I want to do, that's what I think of Abacha. And I think residents should be concerned that a person has that much power to bypass the courts and make a decision that doesn't include the ones that voted this representative into that position. So I would just be curious or be cautious and just be mindful of who you're dealing with. Just because he does some good things doesn't mean that he's gonna do good for you. So you got to set your standard high. If he makes a mistake, he needs to be challenged on that, and he needs to face the consequences of that of that mistake. So that I wanted to talk about just the after effects of what that does when you got a governor that just destroys property. It's bad for the psyche of people. When I grew up in a space that was pretty much for the most part clean, orderly. Um, had sorry, I'm trying to do something. Clean, orderly. They didn't have issues as far as like trash and things like that. To when I first went to Nigeria, and I just saw how it was just really on trash everywhere, no street names, everything was in disarray. Um, it started to play on me, at least on my mind, and it was frustrating just to navigate the roads, just to go anywhere. I couldn't imagine living in that all my life. So for ones that you know that grow up in poverty in Nigeria, see destroyed buildings, see trash everywhere, that starts to affect your psyche, and that starts to normalize what shouldn't be normalized. You shouldn't be seeing that everywhere you go, or like it should be a rare occurrence. So now that you got destroyed buildings, how long is it going to take him to build a school? We don't know if he is going to build a school. Now we just got property that's just destroyed, and it's just like for what, bro? Like, come on. It's just it's ridiculous. Uh, as far as the people that are agreeing to it, they gotta look at the Constitution and see what their rights actually are. I feel like I'm starting to think that they feel they don't have any rights like that, and it's not their fault. It's just from years of abuse and corruption from Nigerian politicians. And this is the standard that they set, and people just go along with it and not realizing that, hey, look, they're violating this constitution that they say that they adhere to. So you can have these laws. It's all about the enforcement. If it's not being enforced, then what's the point? Why even have the constitution at all? Like, I mean, it's for it just reminds me of how the British came and placed a system on so-called Nigerians, because they weren't really Nigerians, but it was called that. How the British came and put a system on them that was a Western system, and it didn't account for our just differences in the way we live. And it's like, so you have this piece of paper that just sits up there, and it's like it's not being followed to the T, and no one's holding anyone accountable like that. And it's just like, well, damn, you need. What's the point in doing all of this? So a lot of people don't understand their rights. A lot of people I feel in Nigeria don't know what good governance looks like. They never experienced it. A lot of them that have stayed there all their lives just don't understand what good governance is. Unless you went to some states, some states seem to be a lot more managed. But I'm talking about really good. And I don't mean just Western countries. Like there's other countries that are doing pretty well. One thing that comes to mind in Africa is Botswana. Never been there, but I read a lot about it and how they really have low levels of corruption. So that's one place I want to check out. But when you don't experience good governance for all your life, then you just kind of see things as, okay, I just gotta look out for me, and I gotta take care of my own, and that's just the way it's gonna be. And that's the unfortunate part. Like it shouldn't be that, especially when they try and get you to pay taxes. So the government is supposed to be uh, representing you. Um, Lack of self worth. I feel these people that are agreeing with it, they don't understand their value. They don't understand um, how important their life is, how important their property is. Like it's just they're just there to be existing. They're not really living. And when someone could come in and just disrespect you, destroy your property for no good reason, you know, and you don't say anything about or you agree with it, I mean that just goes that really shows how your thought process is in your own psyche and your own self worth and what you see, valuable. You don't see yourself as valuable. Like I'd be damned if someone comes and destroys my house or my car, and I just like or someone else's. Matter of fact, someone else destroys someone else's property. I'm just like that's not right, man. You don't do that to people. You really don't, because now that's a money source for a lot of employees, and now it's gone. It's gone. So people should focus on that. Questions that we can ask just to move forward is what amendments can we do to limit the power of a governor, or how we can make it so that if the governor or any other politician does anything like that's similar to this, they will be held accountable. So that's one thing I think at least Nigerians down there should be asking. Another thing is if you feel powerless, if you feel like it's no point, they're not going to listen to you, then what steps can you do to change it? Because at the end of the day, there's more of you than them. There's more citizens than the actual elected officials. So if you're not liking what's going on, you got the numbers really, and you really can change stuff. I know it seems impossible, but I mean, if people don't want to listen to the politicians, then they do have it. Everyone has a choice. So um, another thing is for the ones that accepted it or don't see it as that bad. Like, how would you feel if the governor was like, you know what, I want to build a house here, and he just said, you know, I'm taking over. He takes over your house or your business, or destroys your, just gets rid of it. How would you feel? So just put yourself in the position of those those hotel owners. Like, even though they violated something, like, can you say that you're perfect? I'm sure if the governor was looking at you with a magnifying glass, I'm sure he can find things that infractions that you did that he could say, you know what? Oh, you did this. You broke this law. All right, I'm just gonna get rid of. I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. I'm gonna demolish your home because you didn't pay this person on time or whatever. Like, just come up with something stupid. How would you feel in that situation? You see, you just never know. Like, you don't give people full access of your rights and your livelihood because you might one day get that one governor that just don't give a shit and they go out and they do whatever they want to do. Um, Last thing, if you do feel offended or get mad, I mean, what is my thing is what is getting mad at me gonna do? It's your livelihood at the end of the day. I'm just trying to help you think from another perspective and think critically about who you're electing to office because y'all elected them to office. I even saw the controversy about him, the 2015 election, all of that stuff. I don't want to get too much in it, but getting mad at me or someone else doesn't doesn't change your life. It doesn't change your situation. I'm still gonna be good. I'm good either way. I'm just taking time out to educate you on how dangerous this is because a lot of people, I mean, a lot of y'all ain't seeing it, and I'm just like, all right, well, just take time to think about what this means, how we can even go further. Um, you know, you want to think about every situation that you're placed in, and if something seems extreme, then you want to make sure that I don't know. It's at the end of the day, it's your life, and if all you do is just get mad at people because they say stuff that you don't like and you don't try to take the time to listen to them, that's your own downfall, not the other person's. Appreciate y'all listening to me. Check out my two websites. So they're right on the screen right now, yorubade.com and akibalonwellness.com. You can also follow me on IG at yorubade, and instead of a O, it's actually a zero. So just keep that in mind. I'll see y'all in the next video.